Cassandra, Princess of Troy, a figure of grace and beauty admired by all who laid eyes upon her. Daughter of Priam and Hecuba, the king and queen of this magnificent city, a golden child, favored by the gods themselves, her life seemed destined for greatness. But upon her, fate played a cruel trick, one that would change her life forever. Apollo, the god of prophecy, desired her deeply. His longing was intense and unwavering. He offered her his most precious gift, a gift that could alter the course of history, the ability to see the future. Cassandra accepted this gift, unaware of the consequences, but then she rejected his advances. Apollo, enraged by her refusal, cursed her with a fate worse than death. Her prophecies, though true, would never be believed. Imagine her plight. Knowing the future, but unable to change it. Able to perceive the threads of destiny, she saw the intricate patterns of fate. Yet powerless to alter them, she was like a blindfolded seer, aware but helpless, to see the doom approaching, like storm clouds gathering on the horizon, but to have your warnings ignored, dismissed as the ravings of a madwoman. This was Cassandra's torment, a torment that would haunt her throughout her short life, a life filled with visions of despair. Cassandra's gift became her burden, a heavy weight she carried every day. Every vision, a fresh wave of despair, each more harrowing than the last. The future unfurled before her, a relentless stream of images and events, a tapestry woven with tragedy and loss. She saw it all, every thread of sorrow, the agony that awaited her family, the pain that would tear them apart, the destruction that awaited her city, the flames and chaos that would consume it. But her words fell on deaf ears, her warnings unheeded, her visions untrusted. Alone in her knowledge, she stood as a solitary figure, burdened by the gift and the curse of foresight. And so Cassandra walked her path, a tragic figure in the annals of history, forever remembered for her cursed gift. One prophecy loomed large over the ancient city of Troy, the arrival of Paris, a prince whose fate was intertwined with the destiny of the city. Her brother, stolen as a babe, was destined to return. Paris, taken from his family and raised in obscurity, was fated to play a pivotal role in the saga of Troy. He would be the harbinger of Troy's downfall. Cassandra, the gifted seer, foresaw it all in her haunting visions. She saw the destruction, the flames, and the sorrow that would engulf her beloved city. Paris, handsome and charming, would abduct Helen, the queen of Sparta. This act of passion and defiance would set the stage for a conflict that would echo through the ages. This would ignite a war that would see countless heroes rise and fall, and the very walls of Troy tremble under the onslaught, a war that Troy could not win. She warned her family with a heart full of dread and a voice trembling with urgency. She pleaded with her father, King Priam, to heed her warnings and take action to prevent the impending doom. But her words were dismissed as madness. The council and her family saw only the ravings of a troubled mind. They saw only a lovesick girl, driven hysterical by her unrequited love and her dire predictions. No one, not even her twin brother Helenus, believed her. Despite sharing the gift of prophecy, he could not see the truth in her visions. He too had a gift of prophecy. Yet his visions were clouded, and he doubted the clarity of Cassandra's foresight. Yet even he doubted his sister's visions. The bond of twins was not enough to bridge the chasm of disbelief. The arrival of Paris with Helen confirmed Cassandra's fears. The sight of them together was a harbinger of the chaos to come. Her heart turned to ice. The dread she had felt for so long now, solidified into a cold certainty. She saw the lust in Paris's eyes, a lust that would lead to the ruin of many. She saw the vanity that had driven him to this act, a vanity that blinded him to the consequences of his actions, and she saw the dark cloud of war gathering on the horizon, a storm that would soon break upon the city of Troy, bringing with it destruction and despair. The Greeks arrived, 1,000 ships, bearing warriors and wrath. They came for Helen, they came for revenge. Cassandra knew what this meant, the beginning of the end. She saw the carnage, she saw the blood, she saw the flames that would consume her beloved Troy. But her warnings fell on deaf ears. The Trojans, blinded by pride, prepared for war. They laughed at Cassandra, they mocked her. They called her Cassandra, the Mad One. Their laughter echoed through the halls of the palace, a hollow, chilling sound that spoke of their impending doom. War raged. Years passed. Cassandra watched helpless as her visions came to pass. She saw the deaths of heroes. She saw the despair of her people. She saw the city walls crumble. Yet still no one believed. She tried to rally the women. She tried to convince the soldiers. But her words were met with scorn and disbelief. She was an annoyance, a nuisance, a bird of ill omen that they wished would just fly away. Then came the fateful night, the night that would forever change the course of history. The Greeks, seemingly defeated, had sailed away. Their ships vanished into the horizon, leaving behind an eerie silence. They left behind a gift, a giant wooden horse. It stood tall and imposing, a marvel of craftsmanship, a symbol of peace, they claimed, a gesture of goodwill to end the long and brutal war. But Cassandra knew better. She saw through the deception. Her eyes, filled with dread, reflected the truth she alone could see. She knew the horse was filled with Greek warriors. Her blood ran cold as she envisioned the impending doom. Desperately, she tried to warn them. Her voice echoed through the streets, filled with urgency and fear. "Beware the Greeks, bearing gifts," she cried. Her words were a desperate plea for her people to see the truth. But her pleas were in vain. The crowd, blinded by the prospect of peace, ignored her warnings. The Trojans, eager for victory, ignored her. They celebrated, they drank. They believed the war was finally over. They brought the horse within the city walls. Their fate was sealed. The gates closed behind them, locking in their doom. That night, the Greeks emerged from their hiding place. Silent and deadly, they moved through the sleeping city. The city, caught unaware, was overrun. Chaos erupted as the Greeks unleashed their fury. Cassandra watched as her beloved Troy burned. The flames consumed everything she held dear. The streets ran red with the blood of her people. The cries of the dying filled the air. Her prophecies had come to pass. The visions that haunted her dreams had become a nightmarish reality. As dawn broke, the once great city of Troy lay in ruins. The legacy of its fall would echo through the ages. Section 6. The Prophetess Enslaved. In the aftermath, Cassandra sought sanctuary in the temple of Athena. She clung to the statue of the goddess, seeking protection, but it was in vain. Ajax, the Greek warrior, found her. He tore her from the altar. He defiled the sacred space. Cassandra, the princess, became a slave. Her final prophecy was for herself. She foresaw her own death. She knew she would die far from home, murdered in a foreign land. She accepted her fate. She had seen too much death to fear her own. The Greek king Agamemnon claimed Cassandra as his prize. He took her to Mycenae. He did not know the danger he brought into his home. Clytemnestra is his wife, awaited his return. She had not forgiven him for his role in the war. She had not forgotten the death of their daughter, Iphigenia. Cassandra, with her gift of prophecy, knew Clytemnestra's plan. She saw the axe gleam. She heard the death knell toll for Agamemnon. She accepted her own impending doom. She had played her part in the grand tragedy. There is a certain nobility in her suffering, as through it all, Cassandra remained unbroken. Despite the curse, despite the disbelief, she never stopped fighting for what she knew was right. She never lost her dignity. She never lost her voice. And that perhaps is the greatest tragedy of all. That even in death, Cassandra's warnings continue to echo through the ages. A reminder that sometimes the truth is too painful to bear. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this tale from Greece's dark mythological history.